This week in the security news, supply chain attacks and cross-site scripting, PS5 leaked keys, Claude tips for security pros, no FlipperZeros Allowed, or Raspberry Pis for that matter, Kimwolf in your local network, Linux is good now, removing unremovable apps without root, detecting lag catches infiltrators, defending your KVM, fixing some of the oldest code, deleting websites live on stage in costume. It was a honeypot. FCC is letting telecoms off easy. Don't buy a Haribo power bank. Ransomware scum. Fortinet vulns. CISA warns about NVRs and patching. MongoDB, all that and more on this episode of Paul's Security Weekly. This is a Security Weekly production for security professionals by security professionals. Please visit securityweekly.com/subscribe to subscribe to all the shows on our network. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where exploits run wild, packets aren't the only things getting sniffed, and the cocktails flow steady. It's Paul's Security Weekly. Ever feel like your network infrastructure is stuck in the past? Meet Meter, the company reimagining what it means to get and stay online. Meter delivers full-stack networking, wired, wireless, and cellular, all in one seamless, scalable, and secure solution. From hardware design and firmware to software, deployment, and support, Meter streamlines every part of your network while giving you all the control and transparency you need. Whether you're managing a branch office, retail stores, or a massive data center, Meter gives you performance, reliability, and the visibility you need to stay in control. Thanks to Meter for sponsoring. Go to securityweekly.com/meter to book a demo now. That's securityweekly.com/meter, METER. This episode is brought to you by Adaptive Security, the first cybersecurity company backed by OpenAI. AI has fundamentally reshaped the threat landscape. Today, the greatest risk isn't someone breaking into your systems, it's someone breaking into your trust. Deep fake voices joining your video calls. AI-crafted phishing emails that perfectly mimic your executives. Even synthetic job applicants entering through the front door. Adaptive Security is designed to counter these new realities. The company delivers real-time attack simulations that show security teams exactly what modern AI-driven threats look and sound like, and prepares them to respond effectively. Learn more at securityweekly.com/adaptive. Coming to you from the Hacker Syndicate studios, this is Paul's Security Weekly. It's episode number 908, being recorded on Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm your host, Paul Asadorian, joined by a cast of characters, some of which you haven't seen in some time. Mr. Aaron Leland is here with us. Aaron, welcome.
Hey, Paul, thanks very much. And as I pulled it out, I think this bottle that Dr. Doug bought me, I think if we get an opportunity, I'm going to taste it live on air.
I know.
And then I'll send you all
I wish I was there to have a glass with you, man. It looks awesome.
Andre Petit, 1990, so the year I was born.
All sophisticated.
Yeah, Doug's sophisticated. I'm not.
He was born. The year he was born.
But was Larry the only one to pick up on that? Leave me alone, Larry.
I did as well.
Oh, Mandy as
letting
well.
you chat, letting you continue.
Miss Mandy Logan is here with us. Mandy, welcome.
Why, thank you. I have no bottles of things with me, but the other day I did find a cheap bottle of wine from Aldi in a bush. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Wow.
How was it, Mandy?
What?
I haven't opened it yet. It's in the fridge. I can grab it, but it's... like awesome. I haven't.
I mean, that's where I like to pick up my wine, is in the bushes. So this is where you find the best wine. Mr. Dave Johnson is here with us.
Hello.
Dave, welcome.
I'm here. I brought my drinking vase. I'm ready to go.
Ooh, very nice. Very
got
nice.
a couple of different kinds of rum in here.
Josh Marpet is here with us.
Hello, and I don't have any bottles of wine from flaming bushes. I'm sorry.
You really didn't get into the holiday spirit at all, did you? Like none.
Mr. Larry Pesce.
I'm just still overwhelmed.
What's up, Larry?
Not much. See, I do have my bottle decanter of some bourbon, and I also have I have two fancy drinking vessels. Lee would probably recognize this one. Well, the
it's hard to see. I know in the glasses. Yeah,
GO82, and for Dave, there happens to be these nice ones back here.
Ooh.
Are they tiki?
They are.
Yes. Those are nice.
Fancy. That is fancy.
Wait, go back to
Mr.
the other
Lee
one.
Neely is here with us. Lee, welcome.
Wow, good to be here. Sorry, no wine in my bushes, but I still got lots of Christmas lights out there.
There you go. I'm being classy. I'm drinking beer from the can. So, cheers to that.
Perfect.
Wait, and if Larry's glass wasn't 37.4% dirty, it doesn't qualify. You can't really use that.
This is true. That glass looks way too clean, Larry.
Sorry.
A quick announcement before we...
go.
Sorry.
Do the quick announcements, and then I want to call something out, Paul, here.
Quick announcement. Security Weekly listeners can save $100 on their RSAC 2026 All Access Pass. RSAC 2026 conference will take place on March 23rd through March 26th in San Francisco. You can register using the discount code by visiting securityweekly.com/RSAC26 and use the code 56U5 SEC Weekly, SEC Weekly. We hope to see you there. That discount code and the link is in the show notes. Sorry, Larry, you were saying.
Yeah. No, I think I think we might give some folks some history about the show a little bit for those that are turning in now or tuning in for those that have listened for a really long time. But you mentioned that we're coming to you from the Hacker Syndicate studios. But are we? But yeah, it's a very. But are we really?
I use that term loosely.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
That's what a lot of people say about you, Paul.
There's a long history behind podcast studios in our podcast history. The latest in the saga is Larry and Paul were trying to save the last remaining Security Weekly podcast studio. But as I think a lot of podcasts have experienced, it's very expensive to have space.
Yep.
And a lot of people podcast remotely. I think the pandemic kind of did a number on the in-person stuff. So, we weren't really using it as much as we should have to justify the cost is basically it. So
we had grand plans. Life changed, life got in the way. Our jobs became more active. We didn't spend as much time there as we wanted. We had all these great plans, and every plan never survives first contact with the enemy, right? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
That's why they're called the enemy.
Exactly. And things changed. So
we'll be remote for a while until we find the next thing. Certainly, I was talking to Larry earlier too. I think one of the things that has kind of shifted as podcasts became more popular in the past 20 or so years is that you can rent space to do podcasts, right. And it's actually really affordable. So, and a lot more have sprung up since then. So, if people do want to visit, especially here in Rhode Island, come visit Larry and Paul and others. I know Dave is close by. We can certainly make arrangements to go into a studio and podcast together, which I think would be awesome.
Yep,
so
cool. Absolutely.
That's the interim plan.
And so much of the show beginning, Paul, was so much of the in-person banter between you and I being in person. And, it kind of sucks to lose that. And,
right.
We will find a way to get back to that, whether that be in a studio where, you and I are both now making plans to have a spot to be able to record in our houses that could potentially support one or two people. So, yeah, it will be back to something different. But
Absolutely.
Please excuse this temporary interruption.
That's right. Our studio, though, will allow you to bring your FlipperZero and or your Raspberry Pis.
In fact,
what about explosives?
Yeah, on the show, Dave was like, I have a FlipperZero. I'm like, no, it's allowed on the show. It's just not allowed it wasn't allowed at New York City mayoral inauguration.
You're welcome.
Yes, I struggled with that word, and Larry helped me with it. But mayoral, not inauguration. But in any case, I thought when I saw this, I was like, what? I'm like, is this for real? They really did list out in the list of items that are not allowed at this event was specifically called out FlipperZeros or Raspberry Pis. Now your phone, totally fine, but not your FlipperZero. And I was wondering like what would happen if someone showed up with like an ESP32. You can see like there's a bunch behind me, behind my head actually. Not the frequency jammer. That's not a frequency jammer, FCC, if you're listening. I'm not sure how they would feel about bringing any of the stuff behind my head on the shelf. it'd be interesting. But my brain went to, the hacker brain goes to, what can we do to get around this limitation, assuming that we're going to follow the law, which we've always highly recommended on the show, is to follow the law and not do illegal things. And if you don't have permission to send radio transmissions, infrared, to interact with devices, that you shouldn't do that. And you probably don't when you go to an event like an inauguration. But if you were to want to bring an event to legally monitor for communications, what would you do? I'm like, what? Now we just need to get an ESP32 that looks like a phone. I'm sure they probably already have. There's actually some that do kind of resemble a phone because they're allowing phones to come in. So I'm like, why don't you just get a phone looking thing and put your ESP32 in it? We could figure out how to do that. And pretty well
Alternatively,
capable.
you could just have an Android phone with several of the systems out there.
Sure.
I mean, somebody booted up their old NetHunter phone and had Kali running on their phone. There's a lot of wireless tools that are downloadable for an Android phone. Even on an iOS phone, there's some tools that are available, even though the hardware is a lot more locked down. Plus, there may be people working on building out phone-ish looking pieces for an ESP32. You may have to take your pen and twirl it into a little port on the top, because the pen is just a pen. It's not an antenna. Right.
Now, this raises in my mind a whole bunch of questions. So one, Paul, you and I have talked, and we've talked on this show about, like, we need to start cataloging the FlipperZero clones, because if they ban FlipperZeros and they know what a FlipperZero looks like, and they don't know what this other hacking tool looks like that maybe has one or two of the features of the FlipperZero, but not all of them, and it looks like, a piece of electronics, you go undetected and some of those types of things. Now, the question that I'm in my mind, they banned Raspberry Pis and FlipperZeros. They probably took a very blanketed approach to what they allowed in and what they didn't. Like, if you start bringing like an ESP32 board with a battery attached to it, they're probably going to have some questions, and they're probably just going to either confiscate the device or not allow you to the event. And then you're going to say, it's a Raspberry Pi. Actually, it's not, but they're probably not going to take those chances.
Yeah. Right. What if it's shaped like a cat? This is adorable and should be allowed through security.
I rest my case. Like, Dave, bringing that into like the mayoral inauguration would probably get you in trouble because they're banning that. But it's back to this case of, like, Paul, we talked about with Canada banning these types of things. By banning specific devices is never, it's the wrong approach.
They're locking down a lot of shit on this one. I mean, I'm not surprised they're also banning drones and remote control devices, but they're banning strollers, coolers, chairs, blankets, umbrellas, bicycles, scooters. I mean, a lot of this stuff falls in the category of my kid's support system, right? You're going to bring them to the event, and they're going to be bored.
Yeah, but Lee, why didn't they ban Britax strollers? And why didn't they ban like specific types of strollers? In this case, they banned very specific type of electronics. Which is probably not the right approach.
I don't disagree with you. This ban is so. I mean, laser pointers. Okay, really? You're going to put your eye out, kid? Give me a break.
I think it was.
Well, I think that would be more that they would assume it's a sniper. I think that would very quickly be confused if you.
Sorry, man, you're breaking up.
If you can fit a sniper rifle into a Raspberry Pi, I am impressed.
I mean the laser pointer, the light.
It just, like I said, it feels like they're really worried about something going down on this one.
Well, it's interesting. Like, they banned weapons, which I get, but then just ban like electronic devices other than a cell phone. Like, just throw the blanket thing out there. If you don't want people bringing electronic devices that could cause any kind of interruption or whatnot, then just say that, right? Like, just say that. Like, they're not allowing other electronic devices.
Am I the only contrarian that said, okay, I'll try and bring my phone?
Well, yeah.
I doubt it.
I mean, honestly, but look, they have to ban Raspberry Pis by name, because there's no such thing, Orange Pi, as anything friendly elect that could possibly be clones, Radsa, Pine 64, and Odroid, as well as the Banana Pi, the Orange Pi, and a few others, that could ever be possibly something that is not listed by name. I want to.
Somebody look up on Josh. I think he's hallucinating badly.
But my point is like, to be honest, look at gun control laws. Every time they're like, okay, you can't have anything that has a detachable magazine, and no problem. They came up with firearms that had bullet buttons or non-removable magazines until you pop it open. Like, if you make a law with that specificity, somebody will go, I can go around that sucker.
Yeah, they really needed to say is what they really wanted banned.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem.
So you want to do it on principle,
right?
Like no item that can pwn people.
Well, I mean, if you really want to keep out the device that can pwn people, and you don't say it's brand A, B, and C. You say these devices aren't allowed.
Yeah.
That's. I think that's Josh's point. I don't. By the way, I think the risk is crazy low on those things. I don't get it, but I mean, what is it? It's like seeing a badly written policy. I can't help but try and fix it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Right, because like they say weapons, but they don't say, well, you can bring Smith and Wesson, but you can't bring a Glock.
I got a weapon
Right?
at each arm.
That'd be the equivalent. Like, it's just weird.
Can't bring
That's true, but I'm also assuming that whoever was in the room whenever they were making these rules, like they have heard the word FlipperZero somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They don't know what else. They're just like, oh yeah, we'll add that because
those are dangerous.
That's progressive. We're being on top of things. Like we want to make sure, I don't.
Or unless there was a very specific credible threat.
Okay.
That was using Raspberry Pis and FlipperZeros.
Yeah, that's more along the lines of what I'm thinking. Something caused them to be that specific about that. So, I mean, could have just been they asked AI, hey, what are the kinds of things I should ban at an inauguration? And that's what it came up with.
Yeah.
But
now I got to try that. Hang on. Go ahead.
But I can't say, having visited New York City relatively recently, that there's a lot of stuff that your Flipper could interact with, and then they're pretty popular. Obviously, being in a very densely populated city like New York City, a lot of people have them. I know one time I was in nearby New Jersey at the American Dream Mall, and I saw a kid with a FlipperZero. So anytime you have that larger population, these easier, more accessible devices like a FlipperZero become more popular in the hands of people that don't have as much discretion, which is the discretion that we advise when you use these devices to get permission. And there's a lot of opportunity. I mean, there's TV screens and electronics everywhere in New York City. We went up to the Empire State Building, and the assistants that were helping people on and off the elevators to keep people traffic moving had these little remote controls, and that's what was opening and closing the elevator doors. Of course, my brain immediately went to, is that infrared? Is that RF? What is that? I wish I had a device on me that could determine what that is.
Hey, where's those kids?
Right? But then it's just shenanigans that would ensue after that of me just opening and closing elevator doors randomly, which would just annoy people. And while that's cool and awesome, and I appreciate the hack, certainly, but it's super annoying to the people who are actually trying to get things done and use the devices properly. You could also create a safety hazard with interfacing with some of the stuff that we've talked about in the past. You could create chaos in a location. I'm thinking of the customer assistance buttons in stores. If you were to mess with that, you could cause some chaos as well. So I think they're just trying to avoid that. And I think all of this became so much more popular and more mainstream because of the FlipperZero. So therefore, it kind of takes the blame for it. When we all know, I mean, TV Be Gone. When did we have TV Be Gone? It was a long time ago.
15 plus years.
Yeah.
Before that came out, I had the Casio remote control watch, and would cause chaos at various places by turning things on and off.
Oh, the TV Be Gone watch.
Well,
I think it was a Casio. It was a Casio watch with infrared capability.
Yeah. But there was a routine you could use, and it would TV Be Gone everything. It would turn everything off.
Yeah. And they make dongles for the phone that have little infrared transceivers on them as well. I have one of those. I haven't used it yet, but mostly because it requires me to sideload an app on Android. And I'm like, oh no, not in this. I actually just bought a separate phone for that kind of stuff. So,
important pro tip here: don't post a selfie of yourself at the inauguration with a prohibited device, no matter how stupid you think the rules are.
Yep. Very
Oh
bad.
God.
Come on. We all know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see in Discord what Vlad posted?
No.
That was my hacker man. Excellent.
Well done, Vlad.
Well, speaking of Android and device hacking, my story number 13, I thought was a really neat trick. And I'm sure this has been a thing for a while, but I just happened to read the story that talked about a tool called the Universal Android Debloater Next Generation. So this is better than the previous generation, apparently. And the title is, I removed Samsung's, quote, unremovable apps, and my phone flies now. I think we've all been plagued with purchasing devices that come with apps. And a lot of it is TVs, Android TV devices, Android-based devices that come with apps that you can't remove or disable easily. Obviously, if you can get root via the Android debugger, all bets are off. You can remove stuff. I've done that to some of my Android devices to kind of revive them because they come with bloatware, crapware, adware, spyware, and just general malware, as we'll talk about as well. Probably a good segue into the next story. But I did put the link to the GitHub in there. Use it with caution. You can definitely screw up your device if you disable the wrong apps. So it says that by doing this without requiring root means that while system apps reside in the protected system partition that only manufacturers can modify, Android also stores user data in cache in the /data partition, which you can modify as a regular user. The tool doesn't really delete the system packages. Instead, it uninstalls them from all user profiles, basically freezing them and preventing them from loading into memory. So the apps disappear from your app drawer. They stop consuming resources, stop background processes, and stop killing your battery life as well. So I thought that was a neat trick. Again, I don't think it's a new trick, but I think it's nice that we have a shiny new tool, somewhat shiny new tool, and to be able to do this on your Android devices. Now, they mentioned Samsung. I would imagine this would work with most Android devices that you can attach a debugger to, which is awesome.
So
It's especially
I think it
necessary
has-
on Samsung, though.
Yes.
The
agreed.
last Samsung, it was like the Galaxy Note 7 or something, the one that was like dangerous. I had that, and the first thing I did was go through it and just remove everything that could possibly, that was pre-installed, and it sped up so much. Like, this has been a thing for a while.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Samsung. That's why I switched from Samsung to Google. I have one of the. I think I got one of the early Pixels. It was like I like Android. Samsung actually makes nice phones, but I'm like, what is all this bloatware on there? And I'm like, I don't like that. The Pixel phones are much better about not including that.
Wait,
which
did
is
you say
nice.
you did root on the Pixel or no?
I have tried
Nexus.
to root. I rooted one of my Pixels, and I put NetHunter on it. That was an experience. That was fun. There are some that are either impossible or like really difficult to root as well, which is where I think this universal Android debloater comes in handy, right? Because your mileage kind of varies as to how well they've locked down a phone. Was it the Pixel 6 is like impossible to root? I don't think anyone's figured out how to root that yet.
No, that's what I was trying before RSA last year. That's what
Yeah,
didn't
I don't think
happen.
there's a way to do that unless someone's figured it out and it's not sharing. My theory is if there's a vulnerability somewhere that you could exploit, you might be able to do it. But again, unlocking the bootloader is tricky.
Well, but really, there's two categories of things you want to remove. One is the OEM's bloatware. The other is the carrier's bloatware. Or is that
Correct.
not as?
That's true.
And
No,
this seems like this would work for both because it basically looks like removes anything related to the user preferences for the app. So the app can't operate for you, and boom, it's gone. It's still there, but it doesn't execute anymore, which is just fine.
Yeah, I think it's kind of similar to like cleaning up your Windows startup, folder or registry entries and telling stuff not to start up.
Yeah.
Apps are still there, but they're just
yeah.
not running.
Right. And in lieu of being able to actually get rid of them, this seems like a pretty straightforward way to do it, unless you discover there's one you really wanted. I'm not sure how you roll back, but
Right.
Is this loophole that's being exploited something that will be patched and gone?
I'm not sure. It'd be difficult for them to lock down the user partition, because that's a partition you have to be able to write to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like where apps store their files and cache and configuration.
Right.
So there has to be like a user writable partition on these devices.
Yeah. And somewhere it has a prototype profile for the user that it's going to copy and paste. It's essentially empty.
Right.
And I'm assuming those get wiped as well as the ones actually in the active user. Assuming.
Be careful with ADB though. Don't leave that running.
No.
As we move to my story number 11, the Kimwolf bot. Now I think you had this one too.
Yeah.
I believe Lee.
Yeah, I did.
Maybe others, right?
Yes.
This is like a must read. This is it's a great story, great read. It's the continuing saga that we've talked about on the show that I've done some research on. Bad Box was the moniker or name for the malware and or threat actors. I think I'm not sure if Bad Box was specific to threat actors or malware or both, but it's basically the pre-infected scenario that we've talked about several times on the show, right?
Yeah.
You buy a cheap device on Amazon, like an Android TV. It comes pre-installed with malware. And what we disclosed before this story, right, was that basically Chinese proxy kind of services were using that to sell to access to people so that they conduct adware, scanning the internet, exploitation, using our own residential gateways as the conduit to get IP addresses that are based here in the U.S. that are hard to block because you'd block the person's access that just has a Verizon internet or whatever. So then this one was interesting because one of the attacks, they abused one of these providers' IP idea, which basically so someone, where I understand it, someone would buy access to get this proxy, but they'd use the proxy to just pivot internally in your network. So if you had one of these devices, rather than going into the device and proxying back out to the internet, they were just proxying to your local LAN and attacking things and looking for things like open Android debuggers. And if they found one, they were popping more malware on your systems internally in the network. And that was really, I think, what was different about this next kind of chapter in the saga of pre-infected devices. Is once you have one of those pre-infected devices, now we're seeing clear evidence that it could spread it is spreading internally inside of your network, which is bad.
So there were two things. I can't remember if I found them externally or as part of the Krebs article that we both linked. There's a group called Sentient that has a checker to see if your address is one of the addresses that's been published as being available. Free tool runs, quick. And they also have a GitHub repo that has a listing of all of the known bad devices in case you want to see what you should be purging from
buying.
Yeah. I think Krebs said if you got one of those on your devices, you should, he basically remove it with extreme prejudice. He said it differently, but
burn the house down.
Burn the house down, yeah.
Mine are in pieces on the shelf over there.
Mine are in pieces in a drawer back here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So, but actually, part of the reason I picked this article is because we've talked about the issues with the bogus Android streaming devices before, or shall we say, the ones with an additional payload and mission,
right?
Which, from a intellectual and technology perspective, is really kind of interesting and it'd be fun to kind of pick apart, but hella risky, right? So. And I thought, I was actually expected that both Paul and Larry would be all over this story before I even put it in the show notes,
for sure.
And but actually, when I first saw it yesterday, it's when I was working on the news bites. I saw it. I'm like, oh boy, I bet these guys are all over this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the NVIDIA Shield, but to buy the one that I like, one of the later versions, is $150. And then, so if you go to Amazon and you search for Android TV box, these devices can be bought for, that one's $32. You can find them even cheaper than that.
Like $21, $25, somewhere in
Yeah.
there.
Which
Google,
is,
Amazon may have cleaned some of them up. I search for Android TV box. I don't come up with some of the ones that I recognize as being part of this botnet, which is interesting.
So it looks like you can just block port 5555 incoming, and it should take care of that, unless they change that. But that seems like a relatively straightforward fix.
well, and I'm thinking if you've got some of this crap on your network, you probably want to get rid of it.
You think?
Yeah. There's isolation, then there's full remediation. So if you can at least prevent inbound TCP requests.
Someone sounds like a CISO.
Actually,
Well, it's also telling that when I was researching this, that the Android apps on these devices would be seemingly benign when you looked at them at any given point in time, and then the device would update, and then update the app, and it would become malicious. And a lot of these apps kind of flip-flopped back and forth over time from like, oh, this app is good, and they're like, nope, this app is malicious. And I'm looking at the app, and I'm like, I don't see anything malicious, and it's because an update wiped it out, or vice versa. So I think we stand by a recommendation of like, don't put this stuff on your network. Spend the extra money, get an Apple TV, get a NVIDIA Shield.
So the other good point that Krebs made is that when your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate comes to visit, don't put him on your main backbone.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Yes. I hate it when my Schwartz gets twisted.
Ooh.
Yeah, because were they infecting people's phones in this campaign too? This is a very lengthy article, very detailed. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, a lot to digest. It's a good article, but there is a lot to digest. I'm glad we could cover it because it's interesting.
What about in your neck of the woods, Aaron? What do people use in your neck of the woods in the UK for streaming apps? Is it the same stuff we're using here? Do you have this problem?
Yeah, I guess it's all about the Apple Fire Sticks, isn't it? And then there's a big thing at the moment about when it used to be the television vans that used to come around and sort of obviously be able to tell that you were receiving RF signals. But everybody's hacking the Apple Fire Sticks, and there's millions, probably 2, 3, 4 million people are watching streaming services on a hacked Apple or hacked Amazon stick.
Amazon Fire Sticks. I was hacking those back in the day. But I think that's some of the appeal for folks that want free programming, right? Is get one of these devices, put a specific app on it so you can get free programming, and that's a constantly changing ecosystem, right? And it's basically piracy. It is piracy, but it changes. The apps change, how you configure them change. Remember, like Kodi. You used to use Kodi with all the add-ons to get streaming content, and then the piracy police come down on that. So people move, they change technologies, they change apps,
whack-a-mole.
servers. Yeah, it's basically a game
It's
of
so
whack-a-mole.
cheap though. It's like people are paying £30 a year, rather than £70 or £80 a month, and they're sort of getting everything, and they're pretty stable as well. And people are kind of smart enough now to throw it behind a VPN and throw a firewall on there, like a software firewall.
Yep. Aaron, are you still paying the TV tax in the UK?
Yeah, it's like nearly £300.
Are you serious?
I'm a conscientious
crazy.
objector. By the way, BBC, I don't watch any live streaming, even on Amazon or stuff like that. But yeah, I don't pay it. I haven't paid it for many, many years. And the BBC is nonsense anyway.
It's good that you're detoxing.
Right?
Yeah. No, and Aaron, the history behind that was that basically you had to pay a tax to have a TV in your home, and effectively that tax paid for all of the government-provided TV services like the BBC.
And the World Service, especially for the soft projection of power, which the World Service is still very big, and I'm sure it's doing good things, and it broadcasts into countries that get news that's bit more one-sided than the BBC, like a lot more one-sided probably than the BBC. But yeah, it used to be actually that you got charged if you had anything in your house that could receive signal. But now it's basically, I think it changed recently to actually having to be running the, like receiving the signal.
So wait, but if you watch BBC iPlayer, are they charging you the tax as well?
Yeah, because it's BBC, so it's BBC. And if you watch Netflix and you're paying on Netflix for the big fight and it's live streaming in, you have to pay for it then as well. So any live streaming TV at all.
Wow.
I don't know if this counts, by the way. I hope I'm not live streaming myself. And do you want to know something? It's actually a criminal, like it's a crime. Like it's not civil
piracy is a crime. Remember that?
Yeah,
whole,
I think it's like pirate radio.
Yeah, not just a civil crime either, with a fine. They send people to jail.
You wouldn't download an Aaron Leyland, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Hey.
I had a look
get
at
my baby over here.
Obviously, Josh and I do Security Weekly News together, and I had a look at what the top 5 or 10 sort of streamed episodes of Security Weekly News were this year. I wasn't in any of them. I think I was probably in the bottom 10.
Oh, no, stop that. You were incredibly popular.
With the demographic of the 2 people that talked to me on LinkedIn.
I did a quick search on that. The license fee, it's legitimately, it looks like it's about 3 times as much if you have a color versus a black and white TV. Does anybody make that distinction anymore?
Right. And I think back in the day, you used to be able to get just a radio one as well. But when I was a kid, people actually used to get a black and white one and then watch it in color as sort of a halfway house type thing. But is the black and white and the color one still a thing then? Is that still on the website?
That's my question, because when I did a lookup, I saw it both, and it's about 3 to 1.
Yeah,
you can still get a phone and pay for a phone with tap dialing, not DTMF.
The rotary dial?
Yeah, rotary dialing.
The pulse,
and it's pulse dialing. Thank you. And it's a lot cheaper than touchtone. It's still the way it is on phone bills, but do you know anybody who does that?
No.
I don't know anybody with a phone. Like a plug-in-the-wall phone.
Yeah,
actually,
an actual house phone.
I actually just I bought 2 phones, 2 landline phones for the first time in years the other day. I'm gearing up for tour camp this year.
Oh, yes.
So I realized that in order to participate, I'm going to need a phone. So I found, does anybody remember the silver dollar sized, like world's smallest phones?
Yes.
No.
They're like, I don't have it on me, but imagine a phone the size of a silver dollar with all of the standard features. And then a headset. And so I got 2. They're super light because I'm going to be backpacking. And so once I get there, I'll put in my requisition to have the line sent out to my tent. They'll run it out to the tent, and then I can connect it to the line to my laptop and my phone, and I should be able to participate in the CTF.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
That'll be exciting.
Yes. I mean, I do have an analog phone hooked up to a Google device terminator, but
what are you using
well,
it for?
I had that.
It rings when I'm not around.
It rings when I'm not around.
Actually, okay. We used to do an event for homeless veterans out at the fairgrounds. We only had IP connectivity. We need one of the participants was the district courts, and the DMV would come out, and they needed fax machines. So we set up internet-based phones using a terminator that connect to a phone. So I still have the gear, and I set it up here so that, this is my workshop to make sure it works when we go out in the field. We haven't done the event in a number of years, but, and I learned how I could, set up 911 service on it and all kinds of stuff just in case. But realistically, my old house phone that I had 40, 50 years ago rings there. And the other one is connected to the fax machine in my wife's office that was her old house phone. And we have actually used the fax machine a few times.
Wow.
Well, if you go way back in the Security Weekly archives, you can hear guests and hosts dialed in over the phone. and it was a device. I don't even remember this, Larry. Right?
I do.
It might still be in the studios somewhere.
I think it is. It is.
We need to put that on display because I think it had two. You could put 2 phone lines into it.
Yep.
And it had an analog out. Was it XLR? It might have been XLR.
Yeah, well, it was XLR.
XLR out, so someone could dial in over a phone line, and you put them in the mixer, and that's how we got people on the podcast.
That's cool.
20
Obviously,
years ago.
audio, 20 years ago. Obviously, audio only.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sound was not great, as one can imagine.
Yeah.
But
for the record, I still
it
do
worked.
have a house phone. I still have a house phone.
Why?
Luddite.
Well, it actually rings the payphone in our kitchen. So the only phone that really actually rings is a payphone.
Respect.
Are you sure
But
it's not them TV channels, Larry? What do they call it? Like Babe or Bloke Station?
But I do have an actual cordless phone. And there's 2 reasons we have it. One, that's the number you give to all the services, like the power company, and that's where all the bill collectors go. Or that's the spam phone number that we never answer. And it's also the phone number that my mother-in-law has.
Larry.
Do you have an answering machine, Larry?
You do, and we never check it.
That's funny.
Yeah. So honestly, they're up until recently, up until 2019, the only 2 people that we cared about that called that phone was my mother-in-law and my mother. My mother's passed, so now the only person that calls the phone is my mother-in-law. So,
And even with my cell phone number, my stepmom would always call the landline.
Yep.
So I'm with you. But by the way, I mentioned the fax machine and some raised eyebrows. One of the things I've learned as a pro tip, when sending a document to the IRS for something, it's rather than mailing it, if you really want it to get there, you find out how to fax it to them.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It cuts the time down and it's more reliable.
Larry, we're going to get you dialed into the podcast over the phone just for nostalgia purposes.
Yeah.
Hey, remember the ham radio
Totally
phone
should.
patch, Larry?
yes.
That's how we used to talk to family when we lived in Hawaii in the 60s because it was way cheaper.
Wow.
Oh, so you'd patch a
Wow.
phone into the ham radio.
Oh, or even CB radio phone patch could do the same thing.
Right. So you had a hand operator at each side with a phone patch. And so my uncle would connect his phone and then call on the radio to an operator in Hawaii who would call us locally. And to be back and
That's
forth.
crazy. That's crazy. Yeah.
No privacy, but it was cool. And the fact that it worked, given the number of moving parts, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not having privacy is pretty fun, or privacy, whatever we're going to call it. Because remember the story about Prince Charles and Camilla and what he said that he wanted to be with her? People should Google that.
I don't want to Google that. That's terrifying me now.
Don't
Thank you.
Google it on your
Don't do it
Here,
on your
I'll
work
bring in
laptop.
something wholesome real fast. So one thing
go for it.
I think is kind of adorable. My great aunt is just turned 103 2 days before Christmas.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. So she's 103. She's very sharp. She's on top of everything. She's the president of their association, all this kind of stuff. Well, with her, I figured like, hey, would you rather I call you than text? And she's like, oh no, honey, like texting is so much better. It's so much simpler. Like the phone is not a big deal.
Wow.
And she just, so we text. Like we text a lot more than we talk on the phone in any way.
Oh, bless her heart. That is cool.
It's awesome.
It is. No, she had me when I was seeing her the last couple times. Like she'll have me, she has an iPhone and now she's on top of it. Honestly, she's much more with it than a lot of other people I've seen.
Good deal.
So
what's next?
yeah.
You guys,
There's
anyone,
so many damn stories.
you guys have a
Jesus.
PS5?
No.
No.
I do.
No. But I did pick this up. Yeah, end of year tax purchase.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Switch, is that the what
Le-
is it? What's
Lenovo Legion. So it's
Oh.
it's like the clone of the ROG Ally type deal. But Paul and I were talking yesterday that the ROG Ally has had some issues, stability and fixes and that type of stuff. And I needed a Windows box to be able to run VMs on, Intel based. And well, I can play games too. Like I haven't played a video game in 20 years. And you know what I did last night? I played video games for like an hour. First time in 20 years.
Yeah,
Did you
because
play
I
like
had,
really
because I had a
old
device
ones?
that. What's that? Like I had a device that had a GPU that could actually play a reasonable game from Steam. So.
My recommendation for the all the handhelds. So you've got the ROG, Alley, Legion Go. MSI has a line of them. Of course, Steam Deck is one of the Linux-based ones, but especially for the Windows-based ones, I've got a couple that my kids use. Make sure that not only do you apply all the Windows updates, all the additional Windows updates, enable those as well, but go into whatever app that it came with from whatever manufacturer and run that. Like Asus is the Armory Crate. Run that and go to the settings and go to updates and update all the firmware. So it's not just your UEFI, it'll update that, but there's also a lot of components in there that have firmware. Not only security-wise is that a good thing to do, but also for stability in buggy performance and stuff like that. People are like, the device was trash until I spent, and it takes like an hour or more. Like when I got my son's new one was an MSI one, and it took like 8 hours to get through all the updates or something. I mean, I was, back and forth on it kind of thing, but it took the better part of a day for me to go, okay, now go update that and wait. Now go update that and wait. So you get Windows all updated, all the firmware and software updated on the device. And once you do that, they run much better.
Nice. Now, we
Can I
totally
just
derailed
say
the part about the PS5, but go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, just something about the PS5, and I'm sure it's on other platforms really quickly. If anybody's got kids like 10 to 14 years old, 2 games, one of them's It Takes Two and the other's Split Fiction. They're a proper couch co-op game, and you can only play them co-op. And I've been playing them with my 13-year-old daughter, and over the teething stages of just being really angry at each other and like rage dumping or whatever you call it. It's really brought us close together and had us working together as a team. They're such well-made games.
Cool.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Hazel Light Studios games. They're so cool.
Hazel Light?
Yeah.
Hazel Light? Send a link, man. I want to play that with my 7-year-old, man.
It Takes Two is the first one, and then they pivoted to a more modern one called Split Fiction. They're amazing. They're so good, honestly.
So
Well, the
Paul,
good news on the
Yeah.
PS5 is that pretty soon you'll be able to basically run whatever you want on your PS5 because someone figured out that how to access the level 0 boot ROM keys.
Oh, that's exciting.
Now, I don't pretend to understand the PS5's hardware platform in excruciating detail, but they say that this is a hardware level vulnerability. Sony cannot patch existing consoles via software updates. And anytime I see that, it tells me that there's a key that's fused into the hardware that someone has been able to extract.
Right.
And so once you have that key, it's pretty much game over.
Don't hard code
it's
things,
like
kids.
what happened. Yeah, it's like what happened with the Xboxes for a period of time there, where they had keys hard-coded. You recover the keys that allowed for all sorts of shenanigans to happen.
The old PlayStations, we used to take them to someone and they actually soldered, as you call it, soldered a chip into it.
Yeah, the hardware, it says in the article, the hardware root of trust has been exploited.
I used to repair those because the solder in the PlayStations was so bad at times, so inconsistent. If you just like heated them up a little bit, it would just fix all the solder joints, and then you'd have a working PlayStation again.
No,
I've seen people do that with old amplifiers.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Like the old red ring of death. You'd run it so it overheated. Yep. You wrap it in a blanket, and it would reflow the solder joints.
Yeah.
With the amplifiers, though, you get the added vaporous mercury out of the tubes, out of the old ones.
Yes, that too. Don't breathe that in. It's probably bad.
I mean, unless you really want to. It's fantastic.
That's how I felt buying like those 6 the spray paint cans at AutoZone the other day. I'm like, I felt like I was prepping to huff or something.
It's so weird when they card you like for that. I don't even get carded for alcohol anymore, and they card me for paint.
Yep.
Wait until you try to buy some Sudafed.
Yeah, true.
Everybody gets carded for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you did have like dust under your nose when you went in, I heard, Josh.
a little silver paint, like
yeah.
Supposedly the gold stuff is the best.
shiny and chrome.
Supposedly. Okay, Dave. Okay.
Allegedly.
Yeah, Josh. Everybody gets carded for Sudafed. Our oldest, a couple months ago, went to buy cold medicine at CVS because they had a cold, and they get carded, and they couldn't buy it because they weren't 18 yet.
That is literally one of the ingredients for crack cocaine, though. I think I seen it on Breaking Bad.
That was meth.
Sudafed? No, it's
I thought it was for meth. Yeah.
Yeah, for meth.
That's
Yeah,
a
crystal meth.
major need for meth.
He was. See, Aaron was pleading ignorance right there. And
Yeah,
all fell for
exactly.
it.
There's a cybersecurity crossover there too, because the act of going and buying small quantities of those ingredients at various different places is called smurfing.
Smurfing.
We have a similar cybersecurity attack methodology as well.
Yes.
Yep.
You're definitely coming out all Sans instructor tonight, Dave. Are you a Sans instructor?
Oh.
Because they hate
No,
me. Like, they hate me.
No, I've
Like,
just been doing this a long time.
If Security Weekly's never been sponsored by Sam's, it's probably because of my LinkedIn and every comment I've ever made on them. And some of our best friends
Scotus
are Sans
loves
instructors.
us.
Don't hit me,
Yeah.
Larry.
Well,
Don't
he
hate on
loves
me.
PSW.
The last
We
time
don't
I
know
seen
about-
Larry, he was Sans instructing in London.
Yep.
I could
Yep,
give
I
a
don't hate
Sans
on
class
Aaron.
on mixing, like good cocktails. That I could do if that's a thing that. I mean, they don't have any classes in that, right? So
SCOTUS should do that.
there's a
There should
need.
be a class on mixology. It's an important part of InfoSec networking.
It is.
yeah,
It is.
And it has networking right in the title.
and then I could do rum tasting. Like that would be a thing.
But don't we have, like, I mean, with all the connected cons and groups and all of that, with all of the cocktail cons and all the other stuff, like, isn't that kind of covered?
So one of the first ones that ever was because I yelled at a guy. Jim Manley, back about 15 years ago, he would literally walk around with a bowling bag full of hot sauce bottles that he'd emptied because he likes hot sauce, and he would fill with various whiskeys. And he'd be like, "What kind of whiskey do you like?" You'd be like, "I like something peaty." He'd be like, "Hang on," and he'd pour you a little dram of peaty whiskey.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
this is
I met-
awesome.
I met that guy.
Yeah, oh, he's
That-
great.
years ago.
He,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
moved to Texas, and now he works for TX Bourbon.
Good for him.
But he runs their classes, and I said, this would be great to have like as a class. And so the B-sides whiskey tasting, we had chocolate pairings and fruit and like everything else that rose out of that. It was so much fun. But yeah, it's become a real thing.
I just want to go back to the PS5 article for a moment. So getting the boot keys allows you to sign a bootloader that will operate on the system. But I believe the trick is you have to get your bootloader on the system. And for that, you need another vulnerability. So this paragraph in the article explains it nicely. Researchers have identified a critical vulnerability with the PS2 emulator wrapper used by the game Star Wars Racer Revenge by loading a specifically crafted save file, which is very similar to the older Xbox hacks, exploiting a buffer overflow in the game Racer's selection screen. The exploit escapes the emulator sandbox, combined with the leaked ROM key, grants system-wide access. It says it's particularly potent because Star Wars Racer Revenge is a legacy title, often available cheaply or via legacy game libraries.
So it's interesting looking at what they predict Sony will do, which, the ROM update with all the side effects of those hard-coded keys is probably not. It looks like they're going to introduce new hardware and find a way to detect if you've mucked with your firmware and ban you, or ban your device rather, ban your console.
Right.
And of course they're going to go after the folks but that kind of goes without saying. It'd be foolish for them not to try and catch the guys that leaked it, even if it's to no avail.
It's hard to do at scale, though. I mean, I remember them doing a little bit of that in the past, but it didn't seem widespread. Maybe it's easier now with automation.
Well, my thinking is that they should make a published and really strong attempt, because it can't appear to be without hack Sony. There are no consequences.
Yeah,
you've got to do that for reputation and image. But I don't know how successful. Like you said, at scale, what can they do actually? But they can't just ignore it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting though. I mean, I wonder what. Well, I'm thinking, how many projects did you think of right off the bat, Paul, when you read this happen?
Oh my God.
What's that with the keys?
What would you do? I figured you probably thought of something what you'd try to do. You don't have to say. I'm just saying how many different things came to mind.
Yeah, I mean, the real fix is new hardware
Right.
that has new keys, but then you have to sign the software with those. So you need new software and new hardware signed with new keys.
Finger snap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nothing. It's like 2 seconds, right? Come on, no big deal.
Yeah.
But the article says this is what happened with the Nintendo Switch in the early PS3. The original hardware revisions that were cracked with similar to the PS5 now. And it says the units became gold dust, selling for premiums on eBay because they were permanently hackable.
Yeah. Remember there was a supercomputer built from some of those, wasn't there? Or am I hallucinating?
Yes.
Oh, there was. Yeah, from a
was.
Was it a PS3? I think we talked about that on the show when that
We did.
Yeah.
We did because they could run Linux because of the bootloader.
I think the Navy
because
did
of the
that.
Same things. I think you're right. I wouldn't.
Good
You,
Lord.
the-
All right.
Yeah.
So we have to talk about the most important story in the entire list, and that's Larry's number 4.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Larry's number 2.
Harry's number 4.
But all right.
Oh, of course, it has compliance in it.
Well, that's actually not the reason it's the most important, Larry. Why don't you go ahead?
Oh, Jeff shouted
Yeah,
at me about compliance today. Sorry, Jeff.
I was
Jeff
like,
did?
the irony
Yeah,
is like
PCI.
I don't remember this story because I put it in so long ago. But as I'm looking, I'm like, wait, this does kind of look familiar. Oh,
Yeah, look
wait,
down
that's
a
because,
bit.
Yeah, that's because I'm in this article.
He's quoted in the article.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
looking through
yeah.
the story. I'm like, what the heck is this about? It's okay. Compliance is awesome. Cool. That's great. I love it. Compliance is awesome.
Yep.
I love compliance. And then I'm like, oh, Larry Pesce. Okay, there we go. That's why.
You look so handsome in that photo.
So are we saying this is
Larry.
a shameless plug?
Apparently.
Just for
I-
Larry. Just for Larry.
I had forgotten that I
I
had
think
done this.
I want to read what you said.
Well, because someone trained AI to talk like Larry, and that's what's in the article, right?
And so,
But
what did
I mean,
Grok
yes,
as Larry
but
say?
I had to approve the content
Yeah.
before it made it. So yeah, it's and reworded as needed. So, so yeah, Josh,
Makes
the TLDR is what keeps me passionate is the knowledge that compliance isn't just about ticking boxes. It's about helping companies protect their people and operate with confidence.
Amen.
When a
That's
client
actually the
tells
truth.
us, I finally sleep better knowing everything is secure and monitored, that's why I'm reminded of what we do.
Cue the hordes of people going, compliance isn't security. And I tell them, shut up, you're wrong. When it's done right, it is.
Yeah, or certainly a very large component thereof.
Yeah. Just as when security is done right, it's part of security. It's not all of it.
Right.
I mean, PCI has effectively been teaching people who knew nothing about security, like in a step format, little by little, increasing the requirements. They've been teaching them security. Like where
Thank
it
you,
first
Jeff.
came out, it was minimal. I'm just
Nicely
channeling,
chanting.
you know.
Yeah, nice
very-
channel.
Keep going.
But you're right, though.
You know, it's interesting. Security does not provide security.
If anybody
IT
wants a great picture of Larry, click the link in the chat on Riverside.
Yeah, it's a really good picture. And it's a very old one because
It's
it's got a very full
not.
beard in there.
I'm sorry I stopped you, Josh. I got excited
No, it's okay.
for Larry.
Compliance is a measurement of securities. IT provides security. Security configures security.
I like your compliance as a measurement of security.
I mean, it is. It's the measurement and monitoring aspect. Compliance's job is to make sure that security and IT do what they say they're going to do. That's all.
Right.
And it all
That's
comes
well
down
put.
to risk.
Absolutely correct. And all of it has to be measured against the risk appetite and the risk metrics for the organization.
And then
Risk
we've got
is
to
the-
pay
Time to go home.
outside auditors to
That
rip
closes
us
the show.
off.
That's
Hey,
the other
we
show,
can't-
Paul. We're good.
Yeah,
We're good.
bye.
We solved it. If you have security and you have compliance, and they're both working, you're in good shape.
Well,
Unless you have Fortinet firewalls, then zero trust is clearly the future as threats get faster, quieter, and harder to detect. But implementing it shouldn't disrupt the business. ThreatLocker enforces default deny at execution in a way that remains enterprise-ready, scalable, and operationally clean. Unknown software is stopped cold, trusted apps stay contained, and drift is locked down across the environment. It's zero trust that works in real enterprises and prepares you for the threats ahead. See why CISOs are adopting it at securityweekly.com/ThreatLocker.
The other most important stories we have are, I think.
Oh no, it's cognac.
Did we
time.
talk about Martha Root yet?
I thought the show was finished. I need to drink.
Who needs cups?
You need a glass.
Good Lord, dude, are you drinking cognac from the bottle?
Really good
It's pretty
cognac
damn-
as well.
It's pretty damn good, to be honest. Thanks, Doug. What did you get, Josh? Did you get a cheap bottle of Aldi?
Redbreast whiskey.
Was it Aldi wine from a hedge?
No, I got really
From a
I got
flaming
really
bush.
nice. I got Bordeaux. From,
And there we go, back again.
You got Bordeaux.
Yeah, they
Paul?
go through that really traditional route. I go the wild route.
I don't know if
got
I'm
wild
allowed to
turkey.
tell this
Is that
story,
what you
but
said,
back
man? You
in
got wild turkey? No.
I did not hear. You guys were both speaking. What did you
Oh,
say?
sorry. I said, what did you get, Mandy? Wild turkey from Doug?
I didn't get
And I got
anything from
Bordeaux.
Doug. I got
You didn't get anything
gypped
from
from Doug. I got nothing.
I got nothing from Doug too, but I didn't get him anything either. So like,
I didn't get him anything
Fair,
either.
fair.
So,
I just give him my endless
Doug.
love.
well, he gets that.
Obviously that works.
Yes.
I guess that's why the universe was trying to even it out and giving me some cheap wine.
There you go.
Hey, you got an
You got
endoscope.
slighted by Dr. Doug. So here, have some winking owl.
It's like a real
From
life
a bush.
Easter egg.
That just sounds wrong.
I
Can
can start
somebody
looking
phone
at
him
Have
and
some
try and
winking-
get him on the show? Can somebody try and
Have
get him
some
on the
winking
show
owl
right
from a
now?
flaming bush.
Some winking owl from a plane. I also found not far away that quartz, that purple quartz, that polished
someone had a
quartz
really
thing.
bad day, Mandy, and you made out. You got a really
It
cool
was on 2
quartz
different
rock and a bottle
days.
of wine.
It was it was 2 different days. It was not the same
Listen,
day.
they had 2 really bad days.
That was like in
came to me.
2018 when we were at the hotel and somebody, no names, because obviously they weren't anything to do with the show, had bought a load of legal drugs and then didn't know what to do with them because they couldn't take them on the plane. So just left them wrapped in a bag outside the hotel, hoping they would get a good home because we were scared. I mean, someone was scared to give them to a homeless person.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. That's one of the things that would be like the easiest to handle in Vegas. Like if it's the legal
Yeah.
drugs, oh man. That's
Mandy,
Oh,
how many
Yes, sir.
do you guys have?
how many
Good
birds in the hand is a wine in the bush worth?
Well, it's owls. Does that change it? It's a winking owl brand.
It's
So
a
I
winking
think
owl.
that that's going to be, I would say on this 7.
I don't know if you're allowed to say this, but it's obviously just comedy. But if 2 birds are drinking wine, they might end up in a bush.
Oh,
They should.
Or in Mandy's case, hoo-hoo!
Mandy, go get your wine. Go get your wine.
Exactly.
See if you
I'm
end
trying
up
to
in a
figure out
bush.
how to transition into X-ray machines. Do you guys have an X-ray machine at your house?
Not yet. I almost had one, but they were like, "No, you can't have this. It's a dangerous thing to have." So I had to
And
leave it.
I
not
saw
sure
an
how we got
MRI
it.
machine for sale on Facebook Marketplace a couple days ago. I could buy an
man.
MRI machine.
So we
Doesn't
we
have
have
a
an
nuclear
X-ray
payload.
machine.
So
So we have an X-ray machine at the office, and hopefully we'll be able to share some interesting things that we've X-rayed, which brought me to Larry's story number 3, and also I forgot to post it in the show notes. Bunny Huang's keynote about detecting hardware backdoors, all about hardware backdoors, has been published because he gave it at another conference in Amsterdam. It was a Black Hat Asia keynote. That I think I mentioned that I covered based on like the 3 Buddy Problem podcast, who was in attendance. I really want to see that, and I haven't watched it yet, but it has been released. And Larry, your story on the Haribo's
Haribo.
power bank and headphones
Yeah.
number 3
Yeah.
That's cool.
got me thinking of they used a CT scanner, I believe they said in the article.
Yep.
We've X-rayed some stuff in the office. Super interesting to do that. But
Yeah, and it was funny.
also-
I was watching some videos the other day before going to work, while having my coffee and stuff, that there's a guy that was doing some replacement of some vintage chips on some stuff, and had ordered replacements, and turns out the replacements that he had gotten were complete fakes, and he only really found that out because he had x-rayed them. He has his own x-ray machine to be able to x-ray the chips,
Right.
so that he could see what lines were connected to where on the dies and that type of stuff, and they so completely fake.
So one of the things it gives you in an X-ray or CT machine is visibility underneath the cap of the chips.
Yeah.
Of the microcontrollers. Yeah. Or
Yep.
chips.
Yep, underneath the plastic, as it were.
Yeah. Because I've seen for some what do you call attacks? They decap the chips for the what do they call that? Electromagnetic interference, voltage.
Yep, EM glitching, or even in some
voltage. Thank you.
Yep, largely on these you're doing either laser or light glitching when you're decapping it.
Right.
But we have seen videos in the past too, Paul, where
they decapped it, right, with like acid and stuff.
Yeah, there was some decapping that happened so that the people that were doing the decapping could get access to the internal JTAG that had been disconnected from the chip,
right,
so that they could dump firmware from the processor that way. Like, stupid crazy, trying to solder wires thinner than a human hair under a microscope. No thanks.
Oh, so this is the gummy bear company, Haribo.
Yeah.
Made a battery pack. I did not know this.
Well,
it
was licensed to DC Hong Kong Global.
Who else would you license to if you want a cheap power banks, I guess?
Yep.
DC Hong Kong Global's at your service. And apparently, what I like is it says every single one they scanned shows battery defects that increase the likelihood of possible fires.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead, Lee.
I was going to say, and that they were selling like hotcakes. Is basically the power to weight ratio was incredible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Or the perceived power to weight ratio. Yeah. Was great because they're saying it was huge. They were huge in the backpacking community because of that power to weight ratio thing. But they questioned, like, why are these things so cheap and why are they so good? So they CT scanned the batteries, and basically the battery construction was really, really bad. And the question is it because they used batteries that were effectively like seconds that didn't meet quality standards? Like right. What was it? Like NVIDIA, when they do their burn-in testing for chips, if it fails at a specific rate, but it's stable at a lower one, they just rebrand it and sell it at the lower tier.
Yep.
So I wonder if something similar happened here, like that. One factory just had a whole crap ton of batteries that didn't meet specs, so they unloaded them super cheap. But yeah, as Lee mentioned, unfortunately, because they don't meet the specs, they are very prone to lighting on fire.
Are you guys having issues on taking them on aircrafts? Because weirdly, when I was in Peru or something in September, they actually said if you have a battery pack in your hold luggage, it is not getting on the flight, and the flight's leaving without it.
Yeah, carry on.
And I think that's because of a lot of the Chinese ones, that you buy off Wish or Temu.
The irony is here. Yeah. So and Aaron, you're absolutely right. Being on flights recently, they're saying if you're using it to actively charge something, it needs to be visible. Like, you need to be able to see it while it's charging in case something happens. Yeah. Otherwise, don't be using it. Make sure they're off. The irony is, Aaron, that in order to take a battery bank, one of those, into China, it has to meet a very specific certification from China, or they will literally seize it at the border.
Yeah, they don't care what's going out; it's what's coming in, right? That's why I never go to China, because they'll never let me back out again.
You made this, like, it already came out of your country into my country. Now I'm trying to bring it back into your country. Like,
right. Ask me how I know this.
I'm just taking it home. I'm taking it home for a trip. See home.
So I mean, we talked about what the defects in these batteries will do to the battery packs, but they're also these same defective batteries in ear pods.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine it catching on fire in your ear.
That would be bad.
Yeah,
Because it says the tears in the cathode layers near the top of the stack, the irregular edges can shift or shed material during cycling. So you're saying that's where the flaming would come from?
Do you think there's a gap in the market for a TSA authorized battery pack, like that's made to a really high specification?
Ooh.
Well, I think it's like back to our Android TV devices, right?
Yeah.
So, you buy an Anchor power bank, you expect a higher quality. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, I have all sorts of different battery packs that I try and comply with the FAA regulations when I fly. But my larger concern is the small electronics devices that I typically travel with have batteries in them.
Yep.
That, when you take them out, they're the gold kind of colored ones that go into is it a JST connector, Larry?
Yep.
That those plug into?
Yep.
And those you can buy for sometimes $1 on AliExpress. But I don't think a lot of those don't draw as much, or output, I should say, as much power, because they're just powering a very small electronics board.
Yep. Still, they still have the same chemical components inside that will create some pretty nasty fires that are almost impossible to put out.
Lithium fumes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
so my daughter,
no less.
Hydrogen fumes, yeah.
My daughter's dropped her phone quite a few times, and I've had to get screens fixed and stuff like that. But only a couple of months ago, she had broken the glass on the back of her iPhone, and I was like, "How did you do that? Was the cover not on?" And the iPhone 13 Pro battery had blown up, and that's what it broke the glass on the back of the.
Damn.
Yeah, I have no idea how that happened.
Jeez.
Yep. That reminds me, I should probably take care of that, because I've got one of these magic trackpads that doesn't work anymore because the battery has started getting puffy and it doesn't click. It doesn't click anymore.
Have you seen the pillows that are shaped like batteries that are puffed out?
Yes.
Awesome.
Awesome.
No.
So one of the things I'm wondering is I noticed, with a lot of the new med trains, like the GLP-1 drugs, people are traveling with a refrigerated container for them because they got to save them. And those things have a USB power driven fan or cooling unit, which would then raise the occurrence of people using their lithium battery packs on a plane. So I'm wondering if that's why we're finding more of this, is because there's more demand for these batteries for people to travel and whatnot with them.
Oh, they're definitely. I mean, the only issue I ever have consistently while flying is with the lithium ion battery on my compact power chair. That's always a point of discussion.
You're going to blow the plane up, lady.
I mean, it's safe
but
because it doesn't.
I would.
It wasn't made by a gummy bear company.
No.
And you're going to
It
secure. Mandy's going to secure.
It wasn't made by a gummy bear company. It was only the name was only licensed to a company that makes cheap Chinese electronics. Right?
And Mandy's going to be responsible and make sure it doesn't bounce here and there and everywhere throughout the plane.
So
Very
I'm
fair.
thinking, Mandy, you can't bring that chair on the plane. They have to gate check it. So then they're concerned about.
I prefer flying with Delta because 95% of the time they can put it inside the closet in the cabin, and I don't remove the battery or anything.
Otherwise, they want to make you remove the battery, don't they?
They will ask. They don't always require it. It kind of depends on the person. But I will say in the last 2 flights, they upped their checking. But I think I might have also been flagged in the system because I'm not positive if that's for everybody, if it was just for me.
I travel with so many battery packs and I have to have them on a person that I was just going to put them in a vest, and have some cables.
That would be bad.
Would that raise any red flags, you think?
I would say a redesigned fishing or hunting vest would be perfect for that.
Yeah.
It'd be fine.
All your batteries.
You should have a project to make your phone with a little red handle on the side.
Yeah.
And maybe a button on top, just
maybe
for
some
the emergency
pagers,
uses.
maybe some pagers, but actually
Carry your hacker pager on your vest.
Yep.
And remember, take your phone case, and we need to print them so that there's a little handle on the side of it made out of red or something or other, and a little button on the button, and a big red button on top as well. You have to hold it down to make a call. That's all. No big
But
deal.
I think for security, to make sure you don't lose one, you should link them all together with some red wire.
Oh God!
Hey. Yeah.
And have a nice big reverse running clock hanging around your neck.
Right. Counting back.
Oh God.
So I could count down how long the flight's going to be.
We are all going to be on the same list you're on, Landy.
I mean,
We're all on the list
Wait,
now.
but
that's
I
true,
got put on
Flava
the list
Flav is
because
on it.
they crushed my wheelchair, not because I actually did anything inappropriate. They crushed it.
We're just trying to keep you company.
I know. I think we're all going to end up with that. Do you know what it means, like on your thing when you get an SSSS?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that means you get the cavity search at TSA.
Wait, is that why Josh sent me the
You get the
endoscope
complimentary
earlier?
massage.
Just remember, if they put the endoscope in the bottom, do the top first, then the bottom. Okay, not the bottom first, then the top.
Yeah, that's the scene from Idiocracy, right, Josh?
Right. This one goes in your. This one goes in your mouth. Oh no, wait, that one goes in your butt.
No, this one goes in your mouth, this one goes in your armpit, and this one goes in your butt.
Yes.
Wait.
Shark commented, secondary security screening selection. Secondary security screening selection. SSS. Four S's.
4 S's, yeah.
Woohoo! No, thank you. It's hard enough going through Heathrow without extra help.
Yeah, I don't like being secondary. I like being first.
Primary.
Yeah.
Primary.
Yes.
Bend
It
over.
would be five S's with the sloppy second. Never mind.
Oh, dude.
Why?
Oh, dude.
Dude.
My brain.
Oh,
There is
my
not
goodness.
bleach, dude. There is not bleach for my brain.
I need brain bleach.
That's what rum is.
Paul is very quiet tonight.
Yes.
So do we want to talk about the
good, you guys
cybersecurity compose turning into ransomware scum?
Yes.
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 Yeah, because I had nothing clean to say. That's why.
So, all
He's
right.
in this he's bogged down in
Something
his
about
mire.
dirty probes. I don't know.
So
Just
there
go
were
back
these.
to your vest idea. Just go back to your fashion sense.
Sorry,
there
Lee,
was
go ahead.
These incident responders who back in, I think it was in October or something. They were busted for hacking and whatnot, and pulling ransomware attacks on their customers. They learned about how these techniques worked. They learned how ransomware as a service worked, and lo and behold, they decided that they could do their own get rich quick theme and started doing it. Which, I mean, that's how do we keep the ethics ethical, right? I mean, we've talked about ethical hacking how many times? Don't give me an exact count. So we teach folks all these great techniques that work and how things are done and how to defend against it. And my thinking was, shit, how do you stop? How do you catch people that go bad, or how do you keep people from going bad? Most people won't, but how do you detect those that do? How do you kick them back into play before it's too late?
We covered this story when it came out. It's interesting they pled
Yeah.
guilty. Yeah, they pled guilty to at least one of the charges.
Right. So, well, and one of my pet peeves is I talk to people about background checks, and they do it once, they never do it again. And given my background of where I used to work, I know people go bad.
They must have had serious
Walker
evidence.
Spiring.
Yeah, because
Oh,
they
for
pled
sure.
guilty, and it says a federal court will sentence Goldberg and Martin in March.
Mm-hmm.
It has the option to jail them for 20 years each.
Wow.
But like I said, but what about somebody how do we catch somebody who's just starting to stray and pull them back from the edge? How do we?
I don't know. And how is that different than somebody who identifies as a gray hat?
Okay.
Right.
Oh, we're not even going to go there. That's
Yeah, I hadn't planned to go that far. But I was just thinking, how can we provide better guidance to help people? I mean,
When people are money motivated, how are you ever going
Yeah, it's
to
hard.
absolutely?
right. Well, you can give them an outlet. I mean, like DEF CON has a few places to exercise these skills appropriately.
yeah, CTFs and
Well,
things
yeah.
like that. That all works.
Yeah. Give them an outlet, I guess. But you're also
Well, I
training
think
them up.
I think
That's
it's one of the
always gonna
positive things.
Yeah.
On bug
I don't
bounties, that
know.
was one of the positive things, right? Is to reward people for finding vulnerabilities and creating exploits.
Mm-hmm.
Monetarily, although it doesn't quite keep up with the market as we've discussed, but I think it does accomplish the goal of taking some of it away from the illegal activity and exploits falling in the wrong hands, because there's a legitimate process to follow. I think it has gotten better over time. Bug bounties tend to get a bad rap sometimes, but I think it has done good. It's
Yeah,
similar
I
to the way
think
we
that
all
was-
kind of railed against PCI when it came out, but it has done a lot of good.
Yeah.
And I think bug bounties are the same thing. It does a lot of good. It doesn't, but it's not going to stop all crime. Nothing stops all crime.
No, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
Criminals can be criminals. Yeah.
But you,
Anybody says that they can stop all crime or they're 100% secure, I mean, or proprietary cryptography is a good idea, just kick them out of your office.
I mean,
Okay.
you're competing against $22 million. Like, that's going to be tough.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're,
I agree.
that's.
I mean, there's people who will end up who've been law abiding all the time and will steal something to get a pair of shoes. I mean, that's not. So you're talking about kind of a personal integrity
yeah.
and honor code
It's
within
hard to
that.
teach and train.
Yeah. That's why you go to more autistic people. We just haven't more naturally.
Got it. So it's like such a, just to me, it's an interesting thought exercise. Is how can we keep, or where can we channel this kind of energy? Because there's some incredible skills there that could be really helpful to us. Very helpful.
Wait, okay, so now let's talk about this on the other side, because I know that several of you, at least, have the opinion of not particularly caring for those who were bad actors and then get recruited into doing things for CIA or, doing things for law enforcement.
Well, it depends on the time period too.
I mean,
I think there were people who were prosecuted that curiosity was in fact the crime. I mean, they may have done some damages, right? But then turned over a new leaf to varying degrees of success and or failure.
Yeah.
But I think when we look at it today, two things come to mind. One, like, you're probably going to get caught because the level of monitoring that we have today in the digital trail that you leave behind. One of the reasons we're reading about this, right, is you're gonna get caught, whether that's a digital means, someone has discovered it, or someone rats you out, right? Like, that's typically how criminals.
That's what happens.
That's what happens. Criminals get caught. The other thing that, and I forget which podcast was discussing this, and something I've always kind of noodled around in my own brain is, like, let's say you make the decision that I'm going to sell an expert, and I'm going to sell that on, what term do you use?
Zerodium or
Well, not even that. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it to a criminal, right? I'm not going to sell it to a legitimate outlet. I'm going to sell it on I use the term black market for lack of a better term, right?
Sure.
There's probably a better term for that, but
Illicit goods market.
you're going to sell it in the criminal market. But you're selling it to criminals. Are you going to get paid? And someone was describing, I forget which podcast again, but someone was describing like you created this. Let's say they're going to give you $10 million. Like, you don't just get a check for $10 million. They have to first figure out how they're going to pay you. It's probably going to be cryptocurrency. Are they going to give you the $10 million up front? Usually there's some kind of arrangement. Like, we're going to give you $1 million once we figure out it's working. And then for every couple of months or whatever where it's still working, we'll give you an additional $1 million, or not, because you're dealing with criminals. And so I think the kind of
criminals don't have a code,
right? And so I think the ethical discussion or moral values is trying to sway people, like, it's much better to sell it on a legitimate market, even though you get less. Like, you may not get anything in the criminal market. Also, if you're conducting crimes, you may get ratted out or you might get caught. So those are the kind of, I guess it's not really an ethical discussion. It's more of a, ethics is whether or not I'm going to do that or not. This is more of like the technique or technical stuff behind, am I going to sell something on the illegal market or not? There's a lot of reasons motivations for you not to sell it illegally, because you might get screwed. You might get caught. You might never get paid. Who knows?
You might not get anything in your stocking at Christmas.
Right.
But
you might make the naughty list?
You're on the naughty list. Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of crypto, which you barely mentioned there, but you know what I learned in the last week? And I didn't realize this, that if your crypto, whatever exchange it's on, if the exchange goes bankrupt, all of your crypto is theirs.
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay, maybe, but I didn't think of it that way.
So an exchange is literally just a single wallet where they keep a separate ledger to say whose crypto is whose. It's like if think of it this way, if your friend says, look, I don't have a bank account, I need to deposit this check, and you deposit it for me, and you deposit the $100 check into your account, then, once it clears, $100 of your bank account is theirs, right?
Right.
That's all it is. That's all an exchange is. It's an opportunity it's commingled funds where they keep a track of whose is whose. That's it. But the problem is the commingled fund account is in the exchange's name.
Yeah.
So if the exchange goes bankrupt or pulls a rug out.
Oh, that's happened,
Right.
right? Yeah.
So
They just run away with the money.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
what's worse is figuring that out isn't easy. For example, a few months ago, Venmo was saying, you could do crypto, right? And they have this huge description of the liabilities and everything about using the exchange they have. But who's going to read it? It's like reading the 7,000 page EULA that we just click agree to, right? I mean, who's going to read and understand it? And Josh, you made it really crystal clear what it is and what the risk is. I would love to say, that really needs to be in bold in something like that.
That's why I teach the American Academy of Certified Anti-Money Laundering Specialists.
Keep doing that. But my point is that there's a lot of places like that now showing up in front of people with, hey, come into crypto, the water's fine. And I wonder how many people get that surprise, like Mandy said, of
there's
holy crap.
A lot more,
Well, yeah, and
there's
I think
a lot more legitimacy to crypto than there was before. There's a lot more. Decentralized finance has become much more interesting. But honestly, it's such a shit show still to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a whole new crop of people going after it. Like it's kind of because it is slightly more mainstream.
Yep. I know of at least one decentralized finance bank, and I mean bank, that has $1 trillion of crypto that they are working with. Mm-hmm. Okay, they're not an exchange; they're a bank.
Yep.
I wonder if the Vatican Bank has crypto.
Yes.
So one of the cool things I picked up on somewhere, and please don't ask me to quote chapter and verse, is I was reading about how now some bank employees are getting certified on blockchain, which is very cool.
Why? Have you heard of the Genius Act?
Okay, it's the Genius Act behind it.
Yeah, there's going to be a central bank digital currency.
Yeah, I know about that, but I hadn't connected the two.
I'm actually working on one. There's one that I'm actually working on right now that has a way to turn treasury bills, T-bills, all right, into a wrapped buckets of currency. It's fascinating stuff.
It would be. Yeah. I mean, it's exciting times right now.
That's one way for it, but yes.
Speaking of wrapped, Paul, your story number 16, the fixing a buffer flow overflow.
Yeah.
It's the first part of this article really caught my attention. Well, the title is "Fixing a Buffer Overflow in Unix v4 Like It's 1973." So apparently in 2025, the only known copy of Unix v4 surfaced on magnetic tape. The version marks a pivotal moment in computer history, the rewriting of Unix into C. Enthusiasts quickly recovered the data and successfully ran the system on a PDP-11 simulator. And this person took it upon themselves to go, I wonder if I look at the code behind the SU program in Unix, if I could find any buffer overflows or security issues they did, and they were able to fix it as well. And it goes into all the details, behind it. But I thought that was really cool. Like some of the very early C code, certainly not the first C, but the first version of Unix to run C, it had this buffer overflow, which is pretty awesome. I thought it was fun.
It's awesome.
This is wow.
Which, SU probably still has vulnerabilities in it to this day.
There was one that we did that found not that long ago that had been there for 17 something years or 25 years or something like that. It would be interesting to see if you could take that SU bug that this person patched, or this buffer overflow this person patched, and see when it was actually fixed.
Yeah, because I'm sure they must have fixed it in future versions of Unix, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, this is V4. Long time ago, but but also the priorities were different then. Basically, if reading the Etsy password file, not Etsy Shadow, because this is pre C2. And if it was if the entry wasn't right, the program didn't abort. It just kept going because continuing to operate was the priority over detecting malfeasance.
I wonder who wrote it too. Was it Ritchie and Kernighan that worked on the first version of the Unix that was written in C?
No, I thought they did 5, not 4.
Yeah. Was it Bell Labs?
No, they might have. They might have been the one to make it POSIX. No, I don't know.
Bill,
I mean, we could find out.
Yeah, you need the old Unix timeline thing, because
yes,
right. Because I mean, they're talking about this is the code from 1973. That's really before even we're doing anything with networking.
Wow, 1973. So I was.
So I'm sorry. So Unix version 4. Well, this is what an LM told me. Take that for what it's worth. Unix version 4 was largely rewritten in C in 1973 by Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson at Bell Labs.
Okay.
So Bell Labs and Ritchie were right. Yeah.
I had that part. Yeah.
I remember books on C written by Ritchie that I used to learn C.
Well, Ritchie and Kernighan wrote the original C programming book, which I have a couple of copies floating around somewhere.
I have some somewhere. But in 1973, I was 11. So
I was 2 years old.
That was around the time that my grandfather took me to the Lawrence Hall of Science, wanting to show off the cyclotron, and I discovered the HP Interactive basic terminals with the lunar lantern stuff, and I became hooked on computers, much to his chagrin.
Oh, I saw something about BASIC in Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
We're what?
Did you guys ever watch Stranger Things?
Yeah,
like a few episodes, not the full thing.
I
but
haven't seen the latest season though.
So in one of the older seasons, Dave, there's a scene where the guy Bob, they're in the facility and it's under attack, and he turns to who's the guy, the police officer guy, what's his name? And he's like, do you know BASIC? Because you need to reset the computer system. And he's like,
Red Guardian.
BASIC, you can't do it. And he literally gets the computer terminal and starts spitting out BASIC like an animal to bring the computer system back up. I was like, that is awesome. That is great.
Sheriff Hopper.
Sheriff Hopper.
Yes, Hopper, yeah. Hopper's
Red
like,
Guardian and Thunderbolts.
Bob's like, you don't know BASIC. You need to leave it to a nerd. The nerd saves the day.
Oh, then, Jurassic Park. Come on, you got to make that quote.
Right.
I know Unix.
So, hey, this is a Unix system.
So do you guys remember what the acronym BASIC stood for?
Base.
Oh, wow. That's a good
Beginners system interface. Beginners application system interface controls?
Nope. Beginners, all purpose, symbolic, instruction, code.
Damn.
Wow.
That rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah. Well, I learned it in high school. What can I say?
And you still remember it.
They had high school back then with the wax tablets?
Somebody had to maintain custody of the chisels and hammers and stone tablets. I mean, how? Come on! Don't you remember being online on a modem and somebody picking up the extension?
Mom, hang up the phone. I'm on the internet.
Yeah, Mom, you just killed my download.
So, oh man, that's a fun flashback. But yes, So, what about Mongo? Do we want to talk about what do you want to talk about, Jamal?
I want to talk about Linux because we're talking about Unix.
Oh yeah, good, do it.
We'll talk about Linux next. This is the best quote of 2026 so far.
Do it.
And this article says, I've had it with Windows and ascended to the sunlit uplands of Linux, where the trees heave with open source fruits.
Did you write that?
Nope. And men with large beards grep things with their minds. Thanks to Joshua Wolins, published this on January 1st in an article in PC Gamer titled, I'm brave enough to say it, Linux is good now, and if you want to feel like you actually own your PC, make 2026 the year of Linux on your desktop. And I'm going to call it right now. I'm not saying 2026 is going to be the year of the Linux desktop. It already is. the year of the Linux
Do you
desktop.
know
I think
why
it's still
it
it's
is?
gaining steam. It's still
Wait. Do you know why it is? And I'm actually very serious. Because they
So many
just renamed Microsoft Office. Did you hear about that?
What?
No,
I
What?
heard
what?
about that. It's
They
Microsoft
just- It
Copilot.
is now Microsoft Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot app.
At least
Yes.
it's not
Oh.
intro. Something.
It's just as bad or worse. Let's be honest.
Wait, so
Doesn't
that takes
make
place of the suite? Oh, wait, I'm confused.
Yeah,
What's going on?
that takes the place of all the Office applications. It is now the Microsoft 365 Copilot app, which means that no matter what you do in Office, Copilot is reading it and watching it. So yeah,
But it's
problem.
just a name, Josh. It's not. But the name means absolutely nothing now. Like,
But they're really struggling to sell Copilot licenses. And I was actually using it at work yesterday, and it was just to run something over a report, just to pull something out of it. And it failed on me like 5 times in a row. And I tried like starting on like 5.2 and then worked down the auto, and it still wasn't running. And it was like, it's so
what I-
lazy. It's so
My gut-
lazy.
My gut tells me, Aaron, that in the enterprise setting, that folks aren't really frustrated with the Windows desktop enough to go, we're ditching it for something else. I think enterprises are like, you know what, we have Windows, we have Microsoft products. We're gonna have to deal with whatever they give us. And enterprises have a lot more control over what's enabled, what's not.
Yes.
I think the frustration in the move to Linux comes from the PC enthusiasts and gamers. They've had it with Windows, right? They don't want, it's similar to your Samsung phone. They don't want the bloat. They don't need or want the features. They're like, I don't want OneDrive. What do I need OneDrive for? I just want to play whatever laytest and greatest, PC game.
Right. If you want
comes
to run
out,
your
or
games fast.
I just want to run a computer.
And
And I want to do
GPUs and
stuff
RAM
on
getting
my
so
computer.
expensive, right?
Oh my God! The people are ripping out old servers and selling the RAM and buying new desktops with it. Like that. That's how much RAM has gone up.
Yeah. And there's
Like
something,
if,
there's something you said.
if you have a server with, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dave.
I would say, unless you find that use case that makes like OneDrive all of a sudden really cool for you, you're going to be fighting it. And I did find that use case, and I have really one primary app I run on Windows. It's the sequencer for my Christmas lights, and I have all of the sequences, musics, all the stuff, all in OneDrive because I've been messing. So when I got another laptop to try and burn a card successfully, all I did was sync the files, and I was off and running. But that's one guy, one use case. It works very well for that. And actually, I've talked to folks in the enterprise where I used to work. Using OneDrive for all the files and everything made it a hell of a lot easier to change desktops for users like they like to do. Okay, but for that enthusiast, I'm not sure I don't think they're going to embrace that. It doesn't. I mean, they might, but it seems a lot thinner use case than an enterprise, like you said, Paul.
They don't want to be connected to the Microsoft ecosystem. They just want an operating system. And I think a lot of those people are turning to Linux. So they're like, look, I just want a computer with an operating system. I don't want, AI. I don't want connectivity into Microsoft's cloud. I don't want any of that. Dave,
Right.
sorry, you were going to say something.
Yeah, there's a significant experience difference between booting up a Windows machine versus like a Chromebook or a Linux machine. It feels like to me, and maybe it's just different for other people, but when I boot up my Chromebook or Linux machine, it feels like every time it boots up, there's some sort of update and it's gotten better in some way. There's a new feature, or it's more efficient, or they fixed a bug that had been there for a bit. It's smoother. It got an improvement versus a Windows machine. It's like, oh, hey, here's this thing you didn't want, and it's going to slow down your computer for like an hour or two. And you haven't, you just booted it up, and you're like, hey, I just want to use my computer to do all the computer things, and you can't until that has resolved its thing. I booted up I built and booted up a Windows machine for a singular purpose for the first time in years yesterday, and sure enough, that happened. And it was like, oh, here's Copilot. I'm like, I literally don't want that. So I had to go and kill it and remove it and tell it not to install
I
again.
literally don't want that.
I'm like, I don't need that. I just need to do a thing that only Windows can do, apparently. And then it was a very specific use case, and it actually ended up not being able to do the thing I needed. So that machine is now off for another decade or so.
Speaking of which, there was I found this. There was an article on Hackaday a couple of days ago, January 3rd, where someone took the same laptop, same configuration, and installed every version of Windows from XP to 11 to see how it performed.
Wow. And
8.1 was the best.
Wow.
Yep. Wow.
I was going to say
Cool.
XP,
Yep.
but that kind of makes sense.
Yep.
Sorry, 8.1 booted the fastest.
No, that makes sense.
Oh, just boot up time. Yeah.
XP with some memory management, XP was as bad as Windows 11, but Windows 7 and 8.1 were quite good. Windows 11 was the last in battery test.
Well, yeah, because the
Shocking.
bloat. People don't want the bloat.
Yep.
I mean, I talked to somebody at a conference a few months ago, and they were talking about how they had to buy all new laptops because of Windows 11. They're like, yeah, we're in the process of figuring it out because the resource consumption is so high. And I mentioned to them, and I don't know if this is still a thing, but back in my day, we used to customize operating systems to the machine. So I would cut away all the stuff that machine did not need, minus anything that was security relevant. And I was getting Windows XP running on like 56 megs of RAM, at rest. And so you take a machine that couldn't move, and then it was streamlined and smooth. And they had never considered this. I forget what the name of the application was called. It was like Lightstream, I think.
Yeah. Something like that. I know what you're talking about.
Do people still do that? Like, am I
not
a hipster?
as much as they once did? I mean, there are some folks out there that still build a custom installer, and we've talked about one that'll build a custom profile to like ignore the Windows 11 minimums, so that it'll install on a PC.
My Windows 11 VM is like very tuned down, has like just base Windows on it, thanks to the Schneegans.
I was going to say, what is it? It's like Schneegans or something like that.
Rufus will also do it as well, I believe.
But I don't know that. I mean, we like you, Dave. We used to do that at work and work on how to, because there was stuff we didn't want, didn't need, whatever. And in fact, there was even a brief period where some of that stuff stopped being default installed. It was, or maybe I'm just imagining that. But point was, you could. Then the actual machine was usable by, I don't know, the user that wants to do stuff with it. I mean, crazy talk, right? But I don't know how much of that there is. Like I said, that Schneegen single, you can really pare down what the install looks like. But there's also there's a lot more weight to the term, it's an unsupported configuration these days than there used to be.
Yeah, and there's more security, concerns with customizing an operating system potentially, because you could remove something that allows you to secure it. But taking that into account, there's got to be like a modern way. Again, this is how long I've been out of seat and having to build machines for an enterprise, but there's got to be a modern way to pare it down so that way you're not buying new hardware every time there's an updated operating system.
Right. And I think enterprises are better suited.
You run into support issues with that on the enterprise side, though.
Yeah. But if anybody's going to be able to say, these are the things we're installing, enterprise would be set up to do it.
I mean, because you can hack Windows 11 to go on unsupported hardware, but then it's unsupported.
Yeah, it's unsupported.
They're shying away from that. Rightfully so, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you do get like great driver support, and great software support, right? Like you're saying, Lee, your utility for your lights, the Adobe suite. There's certain things that just have to run on Windows. I mean, could you use Wine? And I've never had great luck with that. I mean, some people do, but sometimes the driver things get wonky. So, for example, a tip out there: if you have an older GTX 10X series, so like I have a GTX 1080 Ti graphics card, it works on Linux. I can see all of you just fine. But I have to use an older NVIDIA driver because the newer proprietary NVIDIA drivers for Linux don't support those older cards any longer. And so I'm like, all right, I made it work. But I'm like, probably time to update my graphics card. Like it's good indicator. So I ended up getting AMD, I believe it's a 7900 XT for about $500-$600 price range. And it's got way better specs, a lot more. I think it's 24 gigs of RAM on the card. And I used LM, so I'm like, this is my use case. I want to crack passwords for work purposes. It didn't balk at me when I said I wanted to crack passwords. But like, I want to crack passwords, and I want to run some local LMs, do some local modeling. Nothing too heavy, and it gave me a bunch of options, and that's the one I chose. So I did have to update hardware. Well, I guess I didn't have to, but I wanted to. And the AMD support in the Linux kernel is way better, right? The graphics drivers, I believe, open source and built into the kernel for AMD. So it's a much easier time with an AMD graphics card. So we'll see how it goes. Now, having said that, I also have a 4090 in my other computer. So I'm afforded that luxury as well if I want the NVIDIA platform. So
I mean, we've raised some interesting questions here. You've got people that want to use Windows. Why? Because it comes on the computer, because corporate requires it, because my games run on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You've got the people that want to use Mac because it's so sexy. And you've got and honestly, because it's just a smooth operating system. But both of them have, in my opinion, a fatal flaw, and that is on the recall system on Windows and the Apple Intelligence on the Mac. Privacy. Welcome to the fishbowl, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, privacy people love Linux for just those reasons.
Yep.
Really a whole host of reasons, right?
Well,
for sure.
I'm wondering. I mean, like, for example, I got an offer from my old employer going to retirees, offering a blood pressure monitor or something else, and then an app to monitor all this. And I'm thinking, sure, it's going to stay private.
Yeah.
And then you get down to the bottom, and it says this offer is intended for people with this blood pressure rating and I'm like, wait, this is targeted, you assholes. But anyway, so
you're so shocked, I'm sure.
I'm shocked. Whatever.
There was a really cool story, changing gears.
Yeah.
There was the hacktivist that deletes white supremacist websites live on stage.
Martha Root, baby.
Martha Root in costume, by the way, dressed up as a pink
Power Ranger.
I feel like this was like this made me feel great for a lot of reasons. One, they were taking down highly questionable, if not disgusting, websites, right? Which is great. That dressed in the Power Ranger outfit, I feel like that's a throwback to like early DEF CON days, right? I feel like that's a really kind of a nostalgic hacker thing to do. And she gave the entire presentation in the Power Ranger gear, helmet and all, by the way. A tip to the presentation was in German. But if you download the video from the CCC website, you can get the MP4, which is the version I got. And if you open it in VLC, you can change the audio track to English, and someone has dubbed it in English, so you can watch the presentation in English. I haven't gotten through the whole thing. She presented it with other journalists, got a lot of data. They basically, she basically downloaded all the data from that site and is making it available to those who request it. And live on stage taking down websites, I also feel is like a very nostalgic early DEF CON kind of vibe. So I appreciated the hacker vibe.
Yeah.
In this whole thing.
So it was the title of the article is basically like, Martha Root goes and deletes these websites live on stage, but before that, basically went and scraped all of the data from these sites, White Date, White Child, and White Deal. So White Date was Tinder for Nazis. White Child was a site that said they were matching white supremacist sperm and egg donors, and White Deal was like like TaskRabbit for racists.
I need a shower.
Exactly.
Yeah, I read that too, and I'm like, ugh.
Oh,
But the best part is that she scraped all of the personal data of all the users and from what I heard, released all of the metadata about the data about the users. Like,
Exposing users' profiles, including images with precise geolocation metadata and detailed demographic, while stating that emails, passwords, and private messages were not included for now. Which kind of alludes to the fact that that was scraped, but she's not releasing
I liked her one
Yep.
comment about the white date site that had 6,500 users, which 86% were male and 14% were female. And she says, making Smurf Village look like a feminist utopia. I'm thinking,
Yes.
touche.
Yes. Yep. The other one, the great quote: "Imagine calling yourselves the master race, but forgetting to secure your own website. Maybe try mastering to host WordPress before world domination."
Oh boy.
I like this woman for so many reasons.
So many reasons.
I mean,
right?
I like this. I mean, by the way, the site admin should be justifiably pissed, but as pissed at themselves for not securing the site as for it being deleted. And by the way, I hope they had a backup.
Yeah.
I hope they didn't.
I hope they did.
Well,
I hope it's
okay.
totally fine.
I'm looking at it from their perspective. I hope they had a backup. But frankly, these sound like disgusting sites that shouldn't come back. But, if you're sitting in the sysadmin chair, yeah.
you know what?
Probably not
If they
run by
come
very
back-
nice people.
Not
If
at
they come
all.
back, I'm sure there's 1,000 people that are willing to go, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, unless they needed that triggering moment to decide to go out of business.
Well, I mean, look, if they need to come back online, it's no problem. For only a small fee of $15 million, donate it to the LGBTQ organization of your choice, or, people of color organization of your choice. We will absolutely put them back online on a 56K line.
I wasn't going to give them 56K.
14.4?
Okay, there we go.
On the other side of the story, there's a quote in the article that says, from the administrator of the site, says, "They publicly delete all my websites while the audience rejoices. This is cyber terrorism." Discuss.
Yeah, as we talked about
That's-
that, I was starting to question in my own mind the legality.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
legal.
It's not
It's not
legal.
legal at
It's
all.
not ethical either. It might be for the greater good, but it's not legal or ethical.
Yeah.
No. Fun. However, it is incredibly
Right.
fun.
I think it's ethical. It's just not legal. And then a crime's only a crime if someone decides to.
Well, she
convict
doesn't
it.
have permission to do that. And
So
if
it's-
unless she's
Right.
operating for
Right.
somebody who's hired, it, well, unless,
But
I'm
my
starting to
ethical
go down the deep
code
end.
might be different than yours.
Oh, I didn't say I didn't like that she did it. I just said it gets tricky.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been fun to see. I mean, I'll go back and watch the video later, but it'd have fun. But it would have been fun to see that online live.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of great talks. The CCC, Chaos Communication Congress, has been running since 1984.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is a conference that I would love to go to someday,
Me too.
but it is too close to Christmas.
I think it's like right on or after. It's usually, I think, during like what we call holiday break,
Yeah.
the week between Christmas and New Year's
Yeah.
is when it takes place.
Yep.
So, how do you want to talk about they hacked me? No, it was our honeypot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I feel like that's what everyone says. When I saw the headline, there was like hackers claimed to hack a firm called RE Security.
Yep.
Yeah, we've covered before, and the firm says it was a honeypot, and I'm like, well, that's what everyone says. And is it RE Security? RE Security? I don't know.
Re-security.
RE Security. RE Security.
We'll call it RE Security. But like I recognize that name in a positive way.
Yeah.
And then once you dig through the article and read all the details, you're kind of like, no, I believe from what I read that it was a honeypot.
It's easy to prove, right? Though, right? Because
Because they were like, basically, RE Security was like, well, we noticed someone was trying to hack into our stuff, so we set up a honeypot. We got them in the honeypot. We collected all this data on them. So, and whatever, like you're saying, Aaron, whatever the attackers collected, if that's the honeypot data, then like who cares? And it's easy to prove. So,
and it also looks like as they were being hacked, RE Security was out there, doing further stuff to help figure out exactly who this attacker was, and then get a warrant for their arrest put out there.
Right.
Which to me says, oh yeah, this really was a honeypot, and they were doing the right sort of thing. I'm also reading this and going, when's the last time we talked with Tom Liston about honeypots?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also like, I mean, it's tricky stuff running a especially high interaction honeypot like this one. Trapping attackers, you really got to pay attention, monitor so closely.
Oh yeah,
and have dot all your I's and cross all your T's, because all you need is like one mistake, and that attacker can jump out of your honeypot into a real system. So,
that would not be fun.
Yeah,
But
it's not taken lightly when we do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is often why a lot of people don't do it, right? Because it's risky. It's risky to set up systems and let people hack into them, especially in today's day and age.
And I have seen other professionals go after a site that they claim they got the real one, and it's like, no, that's not the real one.
Right.
It happens.
Honeypots feel kind of boutique still. In this day and age, it's not something that they're more accessible now, but they're still, I don't think, widely adopted from what I've seen.
I don't think a lot of people are using them.
Years ago, there was a huge surge
level.
in basically honeypot technology. What was that sector called? There was a whole
You mean like
was
the
deception.
Honeynet project?
Deception.
Deception.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
This cyber deception, right? And there was a ton of funding dumped into a handful of companies. I even think some of them sponsored our shows back in the day.
What was the one from Armenia?
Does John Strand?
There's one from
John Strand.
There's one from our Armenian friends run an awesome honeypot system. They based it on FreeBSD, which was interesting and unique. Love my brothers from another mother in Armenia that do that. But there was also based here in the U.S. a handful of company. I don't even think I can remember their names now.
TrapX.
Yes.
The one with Chris Roberts. Calvio.
Yes. Yes. We don't hear about this company. A lot of them rebranded, pivoted.
They're
got bought.
commodified. If you want it, it's there. It's cheap as dirt. It's commodified. It's nothing exceptional anymore.
Yeah.
If I remember, I had some friends that were working on a honeypot where they had a commercial offering with monitoring and all kinds of stuff, but the core honeypot itself was actually open source. It's just they had a value-added layer that they were selling, which was actually very cool.
Dashboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, Things got it right in creating that.
Remember
really,
Things? Yeah, the Things Canary.
Yeah, the low interaction honeypots that are, essentially what they described it as. It's a canary, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See,
The
those
old canary in the coal mines.
those makes more sense to me. Those are easy, like lower theoretical risk profile to those, easier management, high reward to like effort.
Yes.
To me, that's more modern. So like, I guess my question is, why are you still running a honeypot? Like, what's your justification there in this particular? Like, are they doing just tons of their own intel gathering? Is that part of it, or is it just like a thing you say when you get popped?
Well, Haroon's awesome. He's created like an amazing company, and I like his approach when I've spoken with him. He's like, look, you get our product, you put it in the network, and like it maybe if it alerts once a year, it's doing its job, but it all lines up, right? Like it's low cost, low interaction, low maintenance, but high reward, like you're saying, Dave, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why Things has been successful. I think you can attribute Things' success to their culture, to their leadership with Haroon and many others as well. They've got just a great like kind of niche in the market that they've executed on extremely well, and they doubled down on customer support and customer success. They've got the Things Love thing. Like they've just done so many things really, really well and carved out a great niche in that space.
Yeah.
And the other companies that we were talking about earlier, Josh, again, it was like tons of funding. They had great technology. I mean,
they got money and they were funded.
They had money. They were doing great research. They had great products, but it just never blew up into that large enterprise segment where you're going to spend a lot of money and do some maintenance and heavy monitoring. Dave, to kind of your point, right? Like, what was the reward on that? Obviously, it wasn't there because a lot of those companies, again, either pivoted or I don't know what happened to them.
So one of the use cases I liked for honeypots was the insider threat detection. And in a zero trust world, there really isn't an inside and outside anymore. But I still think it's interesting, where you've got people on trusted systems going after stuff they shouldn't be. Because we're always, I think, going to have some level of trust, despite the zero trust mantra.
I just had a look because I remember reading it like a couple of months ago. But Microsoft Defender, not quite a honeypot, but lets you set up tag users and device entities as honey tokens that alert.
Yeah,
so,
honey tokens was a cool thing.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's
It's
cool.
interesting that it got baked into Microsoft's own product, right? Like they like the honey token
you just
concept enough to just bake it in.
Hit a button and away you go.
Now I'm thinking that I'm like, wait a second, I haven't heard about any attacks based on tokens or taking advantage of token, like canary token security, which makes me think there might be a prime opportunity there if that hasn't been thoroughly like messed with.
I just Doug is cringing because usually you put cognac in a glass, like a big glass.
I broke all my glasses, Paul, after
you
rage
twirl it around
them.
and you warm it up with your hand through the glass. There's like a whole thing. You're supposed to smell it.
Don't tempt him.
Well, I guess that's one way to do it, Aaron.
He's going to pour it through a shoe next.
Awesome.
Yes, great shirt.
Nice.
Great shirt. One last story I did want to cover was the Johannes from the SANS Internet Storm Center wrote an article on the risks of out-of-band access with IPKVM devices. Right on the enterprise, we have BMCs. For a while, the kind of cat's meow, if you will, was the Pi KVMs, but they were still kind of pricey. And the shift that happened in the market were these very inexpensive compared to the alternatives, inexpensive small devices that provide that KVM capability, nano KVM, jet KVM. And if you just go on YouTube or wherever and you start researching the security behind these, you'll see a lot of security researchers and a lot of users pointing out security flaws in these devices, which essentially allow an attacker, if they were to gain access to it, to be physically present at your computer. And therefore, the security needs to be much higher than a lot of these smaller, inexpensive devices provide. And so Johannes has great recommendations. Just like really quickly, some of my and Johannes' recommendations kind of blended together. Authentication is huge. A lot of these come with authentication disabled by default. They come with TLS disabled by default. Enable those things. If it supports multi-factor authentication, you absolutely want to do that as well. They don't all support MFA on these devices. And the other point was lock screens. Johannes talks about it, and it likens back to my pen test story that I've told in the show probably a dozen times, right? You pop into a BMC, you'd get a terminal or serial terminal on a terminal on the system, and it's already logged in. And then there's a root shell just sitting there waiting for you, and you got there because the KVM or BMC had a default password or an easily guessable password. So make sure that your lock screens are configured so that logins get timed out. So if an attacker does get one of these devices, it at least slows them down. What I'm observing is, a lot of these, almost all of them have the capability to boot unremovable media. And so like all bets are off. It's essentially putting an attacker physically present in front of your computer. Treat it as such in your security models. And a lot of people certainly don't put them on the internet. That's really bad too. So also, use Tailscale or a VPN. It helps get them off the internet.
Larry, what happened to your present from Paul? Is it still between your legs? Are you doing that on the show? Oh,
we'll do the reveal privately, Aaron.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I
think we're done.
Is that a good place to end the show?
I think we're done.
We have to exchange gifts privately.
Tyson will cut that and we can rerun.
That's
No.
No, Tyson won't cut that because that's really good.
The last story, North Korean infiltrator caught working in Amazon IT department thanks to keystroke lag.
Yes.
US-based remote
story.
workers send keystroke data within tens of milliseconds. However, these individuals were more than 110 milliseconds, and Amazon's like, wait, that's an anomaly. I love their commitment to monitoring. Holy crap. Like I didn't read the excruciating details, but just that one thing that you're able to monitor and discover this scenario based on that, I think is really awesome.
That could be a micromanager's dream, though. Like, keystrokes, they're lagging a bit. They're 11 milliseconds. That's, you got to cut 10% off.
You're really on a beach somewhere with a VPN. That's it.
All this employee spyware is pretty crazy. I don't agree with any of it. There was something in the media like a few weeks ago or a bit longer that Teams was going to say where you are when you log into it, whether you're at home or in the office and that. But any company that's sort of looking at that level on what their employees are doing is not a company I'd want.
Probably not a great environment to work in. Yeah.
No, it's toxic, right?
Well, we're short on time. Thank you, everyone, for participating in the show. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching this edition of Paul Security Weekly. Larry, take us out.
Over and